Good evening, everybody. Um, Thank you for joining me on this lovely Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. I am your host, Taryn of Paranormal Brew, live every Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, sometimes 8:35. Um, the bottom of my computer saying I have a thunderstorm warning. Yeeksies. Anyway, so happy for you to join me. I have a wonderful guest with me tonight. Very good friend of mine. I've known him for a couple years now. Um, hey, Yvette. Let me say hi really quick. Hey, Chris. Love you, love ya. Hey, Big Ben. How are you? Checking in from Australia. Thanks for coming in. So this evening, I have a really, really awesome guest on, Jay Hill. If you don't know him, he's been on my show a couple of times. Once to help out. No, once and twice to actually kind of do his remote viewing thing. But um, we can talk about that if he wants to. Anyway, so I'm going to read his bio. Jay Hill is the founder and creator of Studio Six Media, a podcaster with 4 different shows such as paranormal, spiritual, and music. I have a hard time keeping up with one. Can't imagine. I mean, that's talent right there. He is a paranormal investigator as well as a psychic medium. Currently, he is focused on making documentaries about unknown historical locations and people. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want him to talk about that. It's called Shadows Beyond History. He believes there are so many stories just waiting to be told. He aims to do just that. I'm sorry, I left the part out. So currently he's focused on making documentary. Jay has been working hard on raising funding for his documentary, and the documentary is called Shadows Behind History. I left that little part out. So, yeah, so I'm looking really, that sounds really, really cool. So I hope we get to talk about that. Anyway, without further ado, let me like it's done, Taryn. Let me bring on Jay.
Hey.
Oh, hey, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not being rude. I'm just going to my YouTube. So it's like,
No, that's fine.
All right. I like to watch, like sometimes it's easier for me to see comments. All right, let's see. There we go. Why is this behind? Okay. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing very, very good. I was running a little late, but so I apologize.
I thought I was running late today.
You do?
I thought I was running late today, and I had a recorded interview for a music band in Germany, and I was off by an hour, but I still caught him, but it was a 6 hour difference, something like that, 7 hour difference.
Oh wow. So just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, like and then we'll get into. I want to get into your different channels, especially the music one. I didn't know about the music one.
Well, I actually got another one coming out too.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even be able to
Well, I'm a paranormal investigator. I am a psychic medium. I am a podcaster. Um, yeah, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, so to speak. I do psychic walkthroughs for paranormal teams. I've done, I think, one or two for Taryn when she was in Gettysburg. That went really well. That was so fun.
That was fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, the things that we found during that investigation was pretty crazy. So, yeah, I have a few different shows. I do a spiritual show. I do inspirational called Imagine This. Imagine This. I haven't done that in a while. Um, I've also got 32, which is another spiritual podcast I haven't done in a while either. But I've been doing my Metal Freedom podcast, which is a lot of heavy metal type stuff. Um,
Like bands
like um like like thrash metal, heavy metal, like Testament and Slayer and type music.
that's
I,
cool.
yeah, I just interviewed a band called Traitor from Germany, and this guy was so much fun to talk to. I have a couple clips on my Studio Six Media TikTok page if you want to check it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've always been a lover of music, and especially growing up listening to heavy metal and whatnot. And um, I just thought, hey, I'd like to talk to some of these people. So I
I I
made it.
think it's awesome that you're branching out like that. Like, and it's not all paranormal. It's not
Hmm.
all psychic and medium stuff and spiritual stuff.
Right.
And it's, you're doing music,
Hmm.
you're doing spiritual, and you're doing the
It's the
history.
history aspect and inspiration and stuff
Yeah.
like that. The one that I'm working on currently, I will tell you, and I haven't told anybody this, but I will tell you on your show just because
Hey,
it's you.
I love when this happens.
So I have a new podcast I'm working on now called Unscripted From Real to Real.
Oh,
Since it's real is REEL
uh-huh.
to REAL. So it's basically for actresses and actors and people in the film industry and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to get that started.
Well,
Um,
that sounds awesome.
yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, I mean, anybody that's been on TV and anybody that's expressed or experienced what it's like to be behind the camera, so to speak.
Excuse me.
So
I'm on uh what's it call it? What's his name? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now.
see,
Um, because now I'm on the spot.
see,
What now? Kevin Hart. I'm in Kevin Hart's movie. What
oh,
now?
oh, okay, okay,
For like three times for like 30 for like 7 seconds. I'm like this.
yay,
Because HBO is in my face, so I'm
right,
like
right,
every time he tells a joke, they pan to the crowd, and I'm like,
nice.
anyway,
That's a good credit.
yeah, I guess. It's cool. I didn't think, we got pulled up to the front row. They wanted to
Yeah,
fill the front rows, so they were like, "You three come with us," and they just kept taking us down, and put us in the front row. And HBO was like right there.
nice.
So yeah,
That's cool.
it's my little tidbit. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, 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 no. That's fine. No, so yeah, I just got. I'm also working on a book that I've been slowly contemplating, and I just I've got an idea of how to do it, and it's not going to be a typical sit down and write or type. It's going to be something a little bit different, but I'm kind of looking forward to it, and I like I have that documentary, that film company, and that's what I'm trying to work on right now. Trying to get funding for it.
Uh-huh.
I'm moving it to a different platform. Uh, Kickstart is what it's going to be on.
Oh, okay.
So
I hear people are successful with the Kickstart.
yeah, so I'm going to switch to that, and I'm going to see if I can't get that going and whatnot. Because one of my goals of doing the documentary is I want to be able to go to Gettysburg. So that's my goal.
Wow.
And I just talked to my good friend Josh Hughes, who's also a paranormal investigator and cameraman, and we talked about doing a documentary. And I think we were going to work on trying to get something done in the state here in Wisconsin first. So,
I I want to tag along to the Gettysburg. I don't have to be in anything. I just want to tag along for it.
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way because you know more about Gettysburg than I do.
Well, I mean, I can take you to some of the cool haunted spots in the
Yeah,
battlefield. You know what I mean, in the park and stuff.
right, right.
For sure.
So yeah, so
So,
I'm busy. You know, I got things going on.
well, is that now the Gettysburg part and what you were just talking about? Is that the part of that you're doing the history and the people
Yeah,
history?
yeah.
So typically, what like when you say people of history, what would you be writing? Would you be documentary?
Untold stories of people,
Okay,
personal stories of people, of ancestral people, you know, and the history that's not necessarily documented, but it's a good enough story that people should hear.
so you mean like
And
stories of already famous people, or it could be like,
it could be of non-famous people.
oh,
I'm not being biased like that. I mean, it'll just be if I go to Gettysburg and I find somebody walking down the street and says my family has a great history and a great story, I want to hear it.
right,
You know, it doesn't even have to be about General Lee or Grant or whoever. You know what I mean? It could just be about if you've got a Civil War story or something that is inspirational or something that, you know, is hopeful, or that there was something that came out of it that blessed you in some aspect, or even if it was something that was devastating. I want to be able to share that story. And a lot of those people that are, or the spirits or the souls that are still there, they have so many stories to tell. And I aim to try to find out what they have to say.
um, I have lots of Gettysburg stories.
You know?
Anyway, yeah. So if you ever need any extra fill in, let me know
Sure. Yeah.
because I have lots of Gettysburg stories. But I'm going to read you something
Okay.
because I'm going to tell you a very interesting person to look up is Josh Chamberlain. He's my favorite.
My nephew is named after him.
Really? So you know about Josh
Oh
Chamberlain?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the fact that his dad and his ancestry family um, will go back to the Civil War, so they had connections with Chamberlain. So
So he, I have this quote. This is my favorite quote. I would get it tattooed on me somewhere. Like that's how much I love this quote because he's basically saying that the spirits linger there. Like
yeah.
he says that in this quote.
Hmm.
And it's like one of my favorite quotes. But he says, "In great deeds, something abides. On great fields, something stays. Forms change and pass. Bodies disappear, but spirits linger." To consecrate ground for the vision place of souls, and reverent men and women from afar. Sorry, I had my glasses on. I saw I'm reading very like, but hold on a second. Where's that? Men and women from afar, and generations that know us not, and that we know not of. So he knew it was going to be a place where people would come.
Hmm.
You know, this was in 1889, by the way. He said this.
Right, right.
Um, so women from afar and generations that know of us not, that know us not, and that we not know of. Heart drawn to see where and by whom great things were suffered and done for them, shall come to this deathless field to ponder and dream and lo. The shadow of a mighty presence shall wrap them in its bosom, and the power of the vision shall pass into their souls.
Nice.
Ah, it is just
Yeah. I mean, that's.
it literally, if you read that line by line, I know I broke it up a little bit, so it's probably
Hmm.
kind of hard to follow.
Hmm.
But if you search Chamberlain and just put in great deeds, that quote will come up, and just read it. I know I read it all jacked up because I didn't put my glasses on, but
All jacked up.
all jacked up. But it's really honestly like the best quote ever. Like I said, I'm
Nice.
gonna get it tattooed on me. Anyway, I
Yeah.
digress. I'm totally talking when you should be. I apologize.
No, no, it's totally
Um,
fine.
no, I don't hear the rainstorm. Oh, anyway. So
We just got some snow the other this morning. So
we're supposed to be getting snow, and it was 80 degrees today. We're
yeah,
supposed to be getting snow like coming up soon. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. Uh, so so you're saying like you'll talk to anybody that has ties. So if there anybody's watching and you have ties to Gettysburg, Civil War, any type of people, whatever, just reach out
yeah.
to Jay.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll talk to anybody. Yeah. I mean, I want to be able to hear the stories. If you've got a good story to tell, if there's substance to your story, then yeah, I definitely want to hear it. I mean, I can.
So are you gonna like do like would you do Gettysburg and then a person connected to Gettysburg, or would you like separate?
It would probably be a mixture.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because a lot of it is the history, but it's documentary. But it's like 75% history and stories and whatnot, and it's the rest of it to 25% is paranormal stuff.
right.
You know what I mean? I have to throw in the paranormal type. You know what I mean? Just because that's who I am, and that's my goal is to go to Gettysburg and to be able to connect with spirits and to help them in some fashion. I mean, me being here in Wisconsin, when I research vacationing in Gettysburg, and I have the app up on my phone, and I'm looking through pictures of places to stay. I get
Just message me.
spirits.
I'll
I get
plan the whole trip.
yeah. I get spirits that come through that picture, that app.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And they're like, we want you to come. We want you to be here. We want you to. And I have ties to Gettysburg on the Confederate side as well.
hmm,
You know what I mean? So I have history there,
that's
and
awesome.
most of my family on my father's side were uh, owned like a third of Virginia.
Oh wow.
And yeah. So um, it's just I have a very strong lineage and a very strong political lineage that goes way back to George Washington.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so
I have Daniel.
um,
I have Daniel Boone in my family tree.
nice,
I
awesome.
think I was told.
Hmm. Well, it's just I love history, and when I was researching my history and this and that, I went through my dad's mom's side, and that's where I realized that we had a captain in the Confederacy, and that's when on my dad's side, I found out about ties with Sam Adams and George Washington and all that, and yeah. So I mean, it's just it's really pretty cool. I mean, I've got a pretty cool lineage, but yeah. So
That's awesome.
mhm.
So why can you write about your lineage? I mean, is there enough information that
Oh
you
yeah, oh
write?
yeah. I mean, I probably could.
Yeah, that would be
I
awesome.
mean, yeah, that would really be awesome.
I would do it. I mean, and then think about like your family would have something to pass down about your family.
Right, right.
That would be cool.
I agree. Yeah, my namesake. My dad was the youngest out of 14. So yeah, my grandfather, my dad's dad, was born in 1881. So
Oh wow.
the same year that supposed Billy the Kid was shot, which I never believed that, anyways.
Oh, that.
You know.
Oh, well, mine goes back. So my dad's side came from my dad's side, and my mom's dad's side both came from Germany.
Yeah, my mom's side came from my mom's dad's side because my grandpa was German.
Yeah. So and then My mom's side, my mom's side is it from Italy.
Oh,
So I'm Italian and German.
nice. Yeah, I come from Germany, Ireland, Scotland, and a little bit of Swiss. But
You know,
no,
it's like my husband's from the South, right? So he's from North Carolina. He said down there they, at least in his area, they never talked about lineage or ancestry or anything like that. Like he's like he has no idea what he, because they don't ever look into it.
really.
Yeah, because I said we should look you up on like one of the things, like do a
Mhm.
23andMe or look and do ancestry, and he's like, we don't know anything. We don't know where we came from.
What's his last name?
Hamby, Hamby.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, I don't. I have, like I said, I know there's quite a bit of. I think I have. Um, that's how I found out. Well, actually, you remember my friend Kelly Schaefer, when I used to do cemetery files with. Um, we're actually cousins.
Oh,
We're
that's
actually
funny.
distant cousins. You know,
Yeah,
um, so, and I think the guy that my friend Josh that we're working on a documentary and filming and investigation. I think I'm actually related to him too, because I have a Hughes in my line, and it kind of falls in with where he is, and it's like it's really weird because I'm more drawn to people who I'm related to
yeah,
in some capacity than I am to people that I don't really know much of. You know what I mean? I can pretty much be friends with anybody. You know me. I'm that
yeah.
type of guy that I
Do
can.
you think though that people are put into our lives for
Oh yeah.
because there's a reason, like
Oh yeah. Oh
not
yeah. 100
we're meant
percent.
to cross paths? I
Yeah.
believe that too. You know what's? I gotta say something really quick. I'm on YouTube, right? On the show.
Hmm.
Hold on, let me see. There they are. Never mind. I take it back. I'm like, I'm not seeing the comments, the live comments and stuff, which I try to monitor. So I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm back. And yes, now I do hear the thunderstorm. Um, anyway, I got it. So, so, all right, back to that because it's interesting how, and you know how sometimes you meet people that you instantly connect with, and
Hmm.
then you meet people where you're like, you totally are like, nope.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you wonder, like, why does that happen?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you got to look at it like this. It's kind of like water rushing through a hose. Okay, and yeah, there's going to be some clean water that gets out, most of it, but then there's going to be small pieces of dirt that just got to get will get through. And so that's the way I kind of look at it. There's people that come into your lives that are really not going to mix with your vibrations, your frequency. And I've ran into that. There's some people that I like, but I can't talk to them very long because their frequency just does not vibe with mine, and it causes irritation. You know what
mm,
I mean? You ever meet somebody and you're like, God, that guy is so
no,
annoying.
like it's
You know,
rare. It's rare that I don't meet somebody that I can't get along with, even if
right,
it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or years.
right, right,
Like,
right, right.
but when I don't, when somebody walks in, I just shut down.
That's
If
right.
they're, because generally they tend to, and I don't know why this happens, but generally like their energy tends to engulf like my whole atmosphere, and I'm just like, ugh.
Hmm.
Like and I'm not saying I have any special, I'm not a psychic medium. I'm not anything
You're
like
special in your own right, lady. Don't cut yourself short.
that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't ever walk in anywhere and go, oh, I'm feeling this or I'm feeling that. I just know that there are sometimes, like most of the time, I can get along with anybody, but then there's always those couple of people throughout, where they'll walk in and be in the crowd, and I'm just like, ugh,
Right.
no.
No, I usually pick up the people that doesn't vibe with me really like almost instantly, and
Yeah,
I'll
it's
know. But
crazy.
I will still try to accommodate that. I'll still try to be like, you know what, I can, talk to this person, whatever. But then usually within a matter of a minute, I'm just like, okay, nope,
Yeah.
I tried, but it's not often. It's every once in a while, especially if you go to Paracons or you go to big events and it's got a lot of people there. I don't do crowds anymore. I used to go to concerts when I was younger, and I would, be in those big crowds and do all that stuff. And now I don't even do crowds at Walmart. Okay, I mean,
Well, I agree with you there, but
I
if I
just
could avoid Walmart, I would.
right. I just
I still
can't.
do
I
I
just
can do
can't do
concerts.
that. You know.
I love
I
concerts,
just
especially when Nuke is on the Block are coming around.
no. I'm
But
not going to say nothing about that.
don't. They are the
I'm
loves of my
not.
life.
I
35
mean,
years. They've been my favorite.
I'm happy for you. I really am.
Although I
So,
can't I'm bummed out I can't go to Vegas to see them. But
I never even got to congratulate you on your wedding, on your marriage.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody finally slapped a ring on that finger.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It only took 47 years.
Right.
It's crazy. Like I've never been engaged before. I've never, I never had kids. And that was my choice. I didn't want to have children.
Right.
And I just was never in any hurry to, I wanted it to be, I
Right.
wanted it right. I didn't want to, I just didn't, there was
Uh-huh.
no like time clock there. So I was like, yeah, I just want to wait until I find the person that fits my puzzle, fits me, and puts up with me. To be quite
Uh,
honest.
well, I don't have such a good track record because this is my third marriage.
Yeah,
So
my
I've
husband,
been
my
married
husband,
three times.
my husband's married
Yeah.
three. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's been married
But
3 times.
I look at it this way. I have, and I've known this for a long time, and I'm not trying to say I'm all that or anything, but I have. It's easier for me to attract females in that sense, and just because of who I am and my spirituality and my frequency, and kind of gives off that
Well,
more
I'm the same
people
way.
and want to hang out and
Yeah,
whatever, you know what I mean.
yeah,
So
and
I
I'm the
always
same way.
I
Go ahead.
never had a problem making friends and all this and that. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I grew up with 6 brothers, so I have one sister, 6 brothers and one sister, but I attract more towards the male.
hmm
Like all my doctors are men. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I have mostly male friends. I do have, thank the Lord, 5 best friend peaches. You know what I mean? They're my best friends. Thank
hmm
the Lord for them every day. And then I have, Kristen and, Sarah Grimm. Like there's girls in my circles that, are my best friends, but I do gravitate more towards men. If friendship wise, like and anything else,
right,
you know what I mean? Like I tend
right,
to,
right.
you know,
It'd be cool to. I don't know why this came to me, but this is how my frequency kind of works. Is I would love to be able to interview you and the peaches in one setting.
do you know how chaotic that would be? I love
It
us.
would.
You would not get a word in.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
They would do it, but we love us, but we always call us cackling hens. And when people are around us, everybody's like, "How do you know what you guys are saying to each other?" Because all of us are just like,
I
but we
just
can do it.
I just think that would, for some reason, that would be a good show.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Let me know. I'll talk to them.
yeah, talk to them and I kind of would just like to spiritually talk to each one of them.
Oh, okay.
And you, yeah, I mean seriously, I mean that would be, I don't know why, but that would just be something really pretty cool.
Like a group thing or
Yeah,
individual?
yeah, like a group thing.
Now that's how rumors get started, Jay.
I know. I know. Oh my gosh. I have to forget who I'm talking to here.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what else do we have going on? We have when I read your bio, I want to remember now. So you have your 4 different podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, more than that, it
More than
sounds.
that. I just keep adding. I'll make a new poster, a new picture, and then I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. And then I'll figure out the premises and then I'll run with it.
So when you say 4 different, like it's all on your channel,
Yeah.
but you
Hmm.
just have different
Different
podcast
topics.
topics and you keep
Hmm.
them separate. You wouldn't
Hmm.
have them all under one show.
No, no. It's under the Studio 6 media banner on YouTube.
Okay.
So I have multiple, like this show here.
Yeah.
I can, since you have the platform StreamYard, right? Or
Restream.
Restream. Okay, so I'm able to take the show, the interview that you're giving me, and I can put it on my channel.
Oh, that's cool. Go ahead, do it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's broadcasting on my channel right now.
Oh, awesome. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Hi, Studio 6 Media peeps.
yeah.
It's
So it's really cool because
okay. My dog hears the thunder. He's
yeah,
getting,
I can hear it too actually.
yeah, he's scared. Come here, baby. It's okay. Come here. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine.
Okay, you want to go upstairs? It's okay. Come here. Come here. He's so afraid of like motorcycles and thunder.
Right.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, hang on a second. My camera's kind of being goofy. There it is.
So, so with your, did you just start the music side of?
A couple months ago, probably 3 months ago.
Okay, and then with the, let me shoot back to the documentary you're doing.
Hmm.
What's it called again?
Well, I've kind of changed the name a couple times,
Oh,
but it's gonna be uh I think what I put on there it was shadows behind history is actually because I think I had history behind behind shadows or something, but yeah, it's
Satisfying history.
yeah, and I mean it's just when I get a new idea, then I kind of try to run with it, and then I'll be like, oh, I want to kind of incorporate that, and so I'm still kind of working out the details, but it's basically um I'm gonna probably change it just to Studio 6 Films, just
Uh-huh.
because it's just gonna be blatant. That's what it is, and it's gonna be under that. And when I come up with a subtitle that works, because right now I have it with the history behind the shadows, and I like that, but I just things aren't kind of working, so I'm changing things around. So, but I will definitely once I get it up on Kickstarter, I will send the link to you so you could share it.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah, I would love
Um, yeah. So
Now, do you have any material done for it yet?
no, I actually am just in the research process of it. Um, I kind of need the fundage to be able to for travel, basically
Right.
for travel and for lodging, and so that I can do that because it's going to be. I think it's going to be a couple trips that I'm going to have to do it. You know what I mean? So just because of the fact that I don't have a lot of money to begin with, you know, because this is going to be an undertaking,
Right.
and so it's kind of like praying God blesses me in that sense, because it's something that I really want to do. And I'm at that age now where it's like, I want to do something that I love to do. And that's something to do with documentary and Gettysburg and spirits and helping spirits and, documenting history and telling stories of people that don't have that aren't very well known. There's buildings there that have great history that nobody knows about. And I know that they're there, you know.
Right. You're So, but you're not just going to stay on Gettysburg. You're just saying like Gettysburg's one of the
Yes,
places.
it's where I'm starting,
Right.
but that's kind of like the whole thing of it's going to be because I was going to start.
Gettysburg.
I yeah, I was going to start in like the old West. You know, I
Hmm.
was going to start there. That's why I went to Tombstone a couple years ago,
Oh, that's one of my places I want to go.
and
I'd love to.
I had a great time in Tombstone. I mean, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I mean, I had I had dreams of that place before I went, and there was a spot in walk. I was walking from Big Nose Kate's after dinner, which was great food, by the way. I highly recommend anybody that goes there. I was walking behind or in front of an old store, and I looked in the window. I had a dream months or a year before of that window and what was inside and what was connected to it and the whole 9 yards. And so it was really cool. I didn't get the same reception I thought I would because I had meetings. I was supposed to have meetings with some of the prominent people of Tombstone. And then when they realized it was just myself and a camera and whatnot, they didn't want nothing to do with me. They
Huh.
thought I was going to bring this big, huge film crew and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's just me,
But,
and they
sometimes those are the best ones that come out.
right
You know what I mean?
and right and they really weren't interested in talking with me or being on camera because I was a nobody. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm not claiming to be somebody. I'm just claiming that this is what I would like to do. And I was kind of disappointed, but I did let it get me down. I enjoyed Tombstone. I enjoyed there
Yeah,
were
just going to
there
Tombstone alone
were
would be cool.
yeah, there were moments where I would stand right outside the Oriental, where Wyatt Earp had been and the Earp brothers and I stood and leaned against a post and looked out on the street, and for a moment it felt like I was transported back into time and I was looking like I was somebody else. It was really bizarre.
Really?
And I got this peacefulness and this whole like I could exhale and I felt better and it was really bizarre, but it was really nice to be able to look out on the street and realize and have that notion of these are the same streets that Wyatt Earp and Virgil Earp and all these other people from the West had walked up and down these boardwalks that I walked on
Yeah.
and up and down the street. And it was just it was enriching to me. And I will say that when at night when you're walking when it's completely dark because there isn't really any street lights down Allen Street, when you're walking by yourself and you don't hear anything, you stop and you just listen, you can basically hear a pin drop. I mean, that's how quiet it is out there.
Oh, wow.
It is so, and I have tinnitus, so I have this constant
Me
humming and
too.
my,
Yeah. Me too.
hearing and with my hearing and stuff. But I could actually appreciate, besides that, the sound of nothing in that town, and it was just I felt welcomed, and it was nice. I got some great pictures. I went to the birdcage. You know,
Is
I
the sky night at the night sky, is that just amazing?
it is. It's totally amazing. It's just like it's so clear, and it was 80 to 90 degrees outside, but at night it was perfect. I was sitting out. I was at the end of the Allen Street at a cabin, which everything was in like 5-minute walk from my place,
Oh, that's
which was
cool.
nice. I was sitting out there on the deck one night and just enjoying the clean air. I had two deer walk up to the deck and start eating off the bushes off the tree.
Oh my
When
god,
I was just sitting like not even a foot away. And they're
that's
like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" I'm like, I got pictures of that too,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Were you anywhere near, because I hear out Tombstone. So I hear, is Tombstone near Jerome?
I'm not quite sure. It's not. It's north of Bisbee, which I was gonna go to. Bisbee has some really great haunted buildings down there, but I didn't realize I was that close to the border.
But Tombstone alone has got to be so cool.
It is, and it's
I
not.
mean, whether or
It's
not you
one.
have anything paranormal happen or anything, you know what I mean? Like, still just being there is
Well, I
definitely cool.
actually I did have. I was accompanied by because of the fact that I have. There was one time a long time ago that I was wanting to do some research on um, Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites. You know, I like his story and this and that. There was one time where I was standing outside when I was at home. This was years ago, and I was intently thinking about him and where he's buried. And I would really like to, I would have liked to have gone out to where he's buried up in the mountains and this and that. And it was really weird. I had this weird sensation like I was being watched, and I was at home. I was like, okay, that's weird. So I went to sleep, or I was going to go to sleep, and wasn't thinking of anything, you know. And all of a sudden, his face zoomed like really quick into my face when I closed my eyes, and he was there. And he was basically like, "What do you want?" You know what I mean? I was connecting with him in some way inadvertently, and I was like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you," you know, and that was it. Well, later on in the week, I was kind of like, sometimes I'll get these little, you know, sometimes spirits come through just willy nilly, you know, not all the time, rarely, but sometimes they do. And he did when I was talking about to somebody about wanting to go there and this and that. And I heard him in the background say, "Why don't you take one of those flying things?" And I'm like, "What, an airplane?" He's like, and so that's what I knew that it was him that was speaking to me. And I don't usually have interactions like that with spirits too much, but
Right.
for some reason I I just connected with. I really like his. I don't know, like him a lot, and so I basically had told him, yeah, that's going to cost a lot of money I don't have, you know. And so when I was talking about going to Tombstone a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
and I was thinking about him, like, gosh, that'd be really cool. And I said out loud, I said, man, I said, if you could make the trip with me, that'd be awesome, you know. And so when I got there, and I was walking into, I was getting dinner, and basically in my mind's eye, he basically was gonna, he was sitting right there, like, oh, I remember this place.
Mm.
Oh, this is great, and you know, I almost just, it was surreal, you know. And so when I was walking back after that to the cabin, I could hear footsteps, him walking behind me.
Mm.
And I didn't record it, but I was just, you know, whatever. And I asked him, I said, okay, can you just walk on the side of me? Because you're freaking me out with walking behind me. I heard the gravel right next to me, like somebody was walking the same pace I was.
It's okay.
He was only there, and he was only there for maybe one day, but it was just, I knew he was there. And it was really crazy, you
I've
know?
never had an experience like that.
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, that to me, it's that's kind of a normal thing for me because you know, I connect with spirits quite a bit. You know, not as often as I used to, but you
Why
know,
do you think that is? You think because you're doing it less?
yeah, life is kind of overshadowing some of the things that I'm able to do.
Hmm.
Um, Stress. It's kind of like being oppressed. You know what I mean? You know, life gets in the way, and when you don't handle it very well, things suffer.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
so yeah, but yeah, so I mean, there were times there that when I was in Tombstone that I knew that I wasn't alone in some aspects. I mean, I could sense more spirits around, and when I went in the birdcage, you know, you got the girls there. I was looking at the girls' pictures on the wall,
Hmm.
and so I started taking a picture, and I heard in my ear "Oh my God, he's taking our picture." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm taking your picture." And then I would hear a giggle, and it was like, "Okay." And I was the only one in there because they were closing up, and I was the last person to go through.
Wow.
So they actually locked the door at the end in the basement. So I thought I got locked in, and then but the music was still on, so I had to go out back the way of the front door. But I got a ton of pictures,
Wow, that's
and
really cool.
yeah,
I, I had a really weird experience at Eastern State Penitentiary one time.
hmm
And we were doing a tour before doing the haunt. They called it like the dark alley tour or something like that.
yeah,
And there was like 25 of us, and they bring you to Al Capone's cell, and he's telling us a little bit of the background. Al Capone's cell was not down the cell blocks that the other cells were. Like his, there was the guard's gate, and
hmm
then it was his cell. So he was out in with the guards. You know what I mean? And when you look in his cell was, he had a nice bed, he had an armoire, he had a desk, he had paintings on the wall, he had a fancy rug in there, and he had this um, xylophone, the old record,
uh-huh,
player thing. And I take my phone. Now I'm recording naturally because I'm a ghost hunter, so I have
right,
my phone on record. And I reach through where they would pass the meals through, the door, of the cell. And I reached my phone in to take pictures, and all of a sudden, like 40s, 50s swing music starts playing.
huh,
And I'm like, "Oh my gosh," and it was loud, right? And I'm, like, looking around, and there was one other guy that, like, turned his head, and I'm like, I was like, "Oh my gosh." But right away, I thought, like, I pulled my camera back because I thought I had triggered some, like, motion sensor thing to make the music go off or something, and
hmm
he's trying to give a tour. So I was, like, so embarrassed because it was loud, and,
yeah,
he's like, "All right, any questions?" I was like, "I am so sorry that that happened." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "The music." And he's like, "What music?" And I'm like, "The music coming from the radio in there." I was like, "When I put my phone in, didn't it trigger I said, "You didn't hear that?" And the only other person was that one guy that heard it out of everybody. So it wasn't even, and this was like, I really thought it was ruining the tour. That's how loud it was, like, because it was playing music very loud. And what's weird is on my recorder, you can hear the music, but it's so low.
hmm
It wasn't as loud as what it was when I heard it with my bare ear. But
well,
you can still hear it on the recorder, but it's very
right,
low, and nobody else heard it. So, and he's like, "No, that doesn't work in there."
hmm.
I was like, "Okay." Well, that was strange.
You see, a little tidbit about Capone is it's hard to get a read on him. I've tried to get a read on him for a long time. He's kind of all over the place, but because of the fact that his state of mind, where he was at his death, it kind of plays in plays into that when after he passed. I mean, it's just I can't pinpoint him. There's certain people that have passed, um, gangsters or whoever. You know what I mean? That um, I can't even famous people. I can't pinpoint. There's certain people I know that have either crossed or have not. I can name probably a few celebrities on my hand that have crossed and have not crossed. You know what I mean? So
Mhm,
I'll immediately see which is which. You know what I mean?
mhm.
But it's just like with him, pieces of him are everywhere, and I can't.
Al Capone, yeah, he's been
Yeah,
everywhere. He's like
eh,
George Washington. He's
right,
like
right, right.
the Italian George
Yeah, I
Washington.
can't. I think there's a piece of him there. the penitentiary. I think that there's a piece of him in Florida. I
I
think that
mean,
there's,
in
you know,
Jersey, Cherry Hill, he had a house.
yeah,
Like, I mean, he's
yep,
been
up north here in Wisconsin.
Chicago.
Yep. I mean, what a lot of people don't realize too is that spirit basically will go to the place that they were the most happiest.
Hmm.
You
That's
know
why
what I mean?
I'm in Gettysburg.
Yeah. You know, I mean, so, um, but not always. And some of them will just. Everybody's situation is different. It's people don't understand is that your spiritual path is your own, and it's unique. And so, when people say, "Oh, when you die, this automatically happens," 80% maybe 75% maybe, but the other percentage doesn't always happen that way.
Right.
And there's too many different stories and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Well, this person died and what happened to him, or or this or that, and it's just like that's their own path. That's their
Yeah.
own spiritual path. However they died, or however whatever their afterlife is, that's theirs.
Right.
That is not. It's just it's kind of hard to explain, but people don't quite get that. It's like you're your own vessel. You know.
That's what I say all the time. My heaven is Gettysburg, so my ghost is going to be haunting the Eisenhower farmhouse. That's where I'm going to live forever. Um, let's see. Goth is saying if you can pinpoint them, that means they come and go. In other words, they cross into the afterlife and then return again. Come, wait, return
Oh,
again, and come very close to this reality again. Marilyn,
yeah. Marilyn Monroe is definitely like that. Oh yeah, I've seen her in different spots too, but like I was saying, I mean, I could pinpoint them either here or not here. Doesn't necessarily mean there's ones that, like he was saying, that they've crossed over, but they can come back. There's an option. They can come back. You know what I mean? Inadvertently. But there's some that have not gone into the light, and usually they're in the same state, kind of like when they died. You know what I mean? In that, so if somebody had dementia or somebody had, an illness or whatever, they're kind of still carrying a little bit of that until that is transcended away. You know what I mean? Once you cross into the light, it kind of goes away.
so you believe that however whatever is happening to them prior to their passing is how they are until
Uh,
they,
like I said, it's different for every person. It depends on what their soul contract was. It depends on their certain circumstances. You know what I mean? And I can't. It's hard to kind of read every single one. You know what I mean? But I just think that the ones that, like, I'll give you an example. There was a girl that I was doing a gallery reading at a haunted location, and um, I wasn't really supposed to. I kind of just got shoved into it. So I do this reading, and this girl comes through, and she's all like disheveled, and she looks like an addict. Okay, she looks like she's a mess. And there were two girls in the audience that were sitting there, and this I had this feeling that they were connected with these two girls. And when I started describing this girl, what she looked like, and whatever, these two girls raised their hands and said, "Yeah, that sounds like our sister." Well, what they wanted to know was if she committed suicide.
oh,
And I
that's
said,
deep, that's
and
deep.
right, and so then I was like, what she's showing me is what, because she was an addict and it was an accident. It wasn't something like it was intentional. Because after that, as soon as they realized that and that they felt like this weight lift off them, I saw that same girl walk through again, looking pristine and bathed in light. So I had to be shown that to get those girls to kind of realize that hey, that sounds like our sister. And I described her, and they were like, yeah, that's her.
So that kind of
Once,
like relieved.
Right. So once that
So
truth came out that they were worried because it was just like weighing them down, and then they realized that that wasn't true, then she showed herself true colors, which was she had already been through light. And then her mother came through behind her. And that was pretty intense because the girl, I told the girls that too, and they described what happened with her.
now,
And
when you say that the mother came through behind, like, do you believe that they're together, or do you believe that they're like they're aware of each other, the mother and
oh
the
yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, they were together, but she had to that whole scenario where she looked like an addict and disheveled and all this other stuff. That was the premises for the point that I needed to make to the girls that this was an accident. This wasn't intentional. And once that lifted that pressure off those girls, and they started crying, and they felt, and it was almost like I could just see this. I don't know, this negativity lift off of them, and that's when the
whether or
girl
not,
came
like,
through.
and yeah, and who knows how this stuff works, and how you see the things you see, or whatever, it's, I mean, at the end of the day, you made these people feel better.
Yeah,
You help
right,
them in their
right,
journey of grieving.
hmm right, right. And that was the point that because she came through pretty quickly, and then after all of that transpired, then she like transform into this beautiful, and I described her, and they're like, oh my gosh, and I told them, you know
Mhm.
she this is the point that she was trying to make. And then her mother came through, and then they were saying, basically saying thank you, that they were worried. I mean, the girls were worried about this and that and other thing, and it was almost like, and then they were gone, and then it was just, that was one of the most profound moments in my spiritual, because that was, I was young in my gifts. I mean, this was probably 5 years ago,
Yeah, of
and but I remember it like it was yesterday.
course, something like that you would. Let me see. My dad's been gone 26 years this year, and 20 years ago, I guess I had what some would believe to be a visit dream.
Hmm.
And to this day, I I remember it like it happened last night. The feelings, the detail, the
Hmm.
all of it. Like it just it feels like it happened last night. So when something that whatever that is, yes, I was dreaming, and there can be skeptics out there that say, okay, it was, that was just your mind, and
Right,
or
right,
whatever the case may be. But to me, it was like I could feel the fabric of his uniform.
right,
I could
right,
feel
right,
things. And then, that it took 5 years. My dad passed, and it took 5 years to have that visit dream. Well, when my mom passed, um, I had a visit dream from her within 6 months.
right, right.
You know what I mean? And it was almost the same type. It's almost like it made me feel like my dad, and maybe this was just me just being hopeful, but it made me feel like my dad was like showing my mom the ropes, because it was a very similar visit dream. Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
do you know what I
right.
mean? So it's almost like
Hmm. Yeah,
it,
oh yeah,
it reminded me. So I was like, I wonder if like my dad's showing her the ropes, and
right.
showing her what to do.
What I get from that too is that your dad was the stronger side of that relationship, and
Oh,
that you that he was like, he's being the man, and he'll show him how to do it. And that's kind of what I see, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
And
so, whatever. I mean, people can think what they want about dreams are crazy. I have some
oh
crazy.
yeah, oh, I got scolded by my mom after she passed in a dream. Yeah, my mom. I had a dream. I was not doing something I should have been doing, and I had a dream where I walked in this room, and it was like I heard this old telephone, and it had the push button ones, and it was a yellow phone, and it had a light shined on it on a table. That was the only thing in this dream that I could see. It rang. I walked over. I picked it up, and I heard my mom's voice on the other side, and she basically said, You know what you have to do, get it done. And then she calls me by my real name and hangs up, and she says goodbye and click, and that was it. And
Wow.
I was like, and I knew exactly what she was talking about. And I was like, huh. And then come find out that, yeah, that because of the fact that every now and then I do connect with my mom, and she's like, oh, yeah, that was me. Totally 100%.
Yeah.
You
There,
were doing what you were supposed to be doing. And so I called you out on it.
yeah. There was another thing. Like my aunt. She's only a year older than me, but I think my dad had been gone a few years, and she was only 2 years old. She never knew my dad, and it was her and my cousin. You know, they were in my aunt was doing her hair in the bathroom. My cousin was like, again, she's only two, is in the bedroom, just kind of like hanging out. Phone rings. She picks it up, and she's like, "Uh huh, yeah, love you too." Da da da. You know, and my aunt runs out, and she's like, "Emmy," she's like, "Who are you talking to?" And she's like, "Okay, bye, love you." She's like, "Uncle Denny," and she's like, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, it's okay." And she goes, "At first, I thought she was just, being a kid,
Right, right.
and telling the story." I know I heard the phone ring. You know what I mean? But she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "I thought she was being a kid by telling a story."
Mm-hmm.
And she said that, and I mind you, nobody in my family is into the paranormal. So stuff like this happening isn't like, isn't like, normal for any of them.
Right, right, right.
But so anyway, so, she said, "Well, oh," she's like, "I was playing along with it." I was like, what did he say? And she's like, "That he loves me and he's okay. And, to tell mommy that he's happy."
Oh, that's
Right.
cool.
So she goes, I thought she goes, then it got like not so cute anymore, and then I started to like get a little worried. So she went over to the phone.
Yeah.
She picked up the phone. There was no, it was unknown caller ID. And when she hit redial, it was the last person she talked to.
Huh. Yeah, that's there's some great stories of mystery phone calls, and
Yeah.
those those are kind of freaky, especially
There's
when
a,
they get calls from places that don't even have a building.
yeah. There's an author, Mitch Albom is his name.
Hmm.
He used to be a sports writer in New York, but now he writes like he did Tuesdays with Maury. I don't know if you ever heard of that. That
Hmm.
was like that's his one most popular one that was well known for. But he also has like for what he calls has a book called For One More Day, Five People You Meet in Heaven.
That's a
Um,
good book. I saw the movie.
oh yeah, and then he has one called Phone Call from Heaven,
Yeah.
and it's like he takes people's stories and writes about them.
Hmm.
Such a good writer. I tried
Right.
to get him to come on the Brew, but he's so hard to get a hold of. Like I
Right.
can't.
Right.
He's
Right.
from the area that I live in. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm gonna keep trying. I hope to get him on one day.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would
Yeah,
be really cool.
yeah. But you know what? I believe anything is possible, and I don't do this to prove to anybody.
Right.
Well, and like even like you, like I don't the experiences that you have and the gifts that you have and this that like I don't judge you and I don't say, "Oh, he's full of shit," because it's what you believe. It's your perception, it's your belief. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like whatever I believe is my belief, my perception, my reality. Um as far as anybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
whatever
Right.
people believe in,
Right.
who am I to say you're wrong?
Well, that's the whole thing. My whole saying is, and I've told people this even when I've been on investigations, or people have interviewed me. I've always said, if I don't see it, I don't say it. If I don't have the recourse to back it up, in that sense of me saying it and giving you examples, I'm not going to say it. That's just the whole thing. There's too many people out there nowadays who are armchair mediums that will say it just to get that attention or to get that paycheck or to get. It's like that's what you want to do, fine, do it, whatever. But you know what, you're making it hard for the real mediums and the people that are actually trying to help people and make a difference
Yeah.
in society. And regardless if you believe it or not, I had to wrestle with that for a long time. because I wasn't raised that way. I was raised this way, and it's just like, it's like, it's difficult. It's a battle. It's not, but I couldn't deny who I was and what I was experiencing and what I was seeing and what I
Right.
was hearing. And, I wasn't, and everything is not a demon. So people need to stop with that bullshit.
Yeah, for
Oh my
sure.
gosh,
A
stop.
100%.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. Like, I do think that YouTube is calming down a little bit. Um, I mean, I follow more of the debunking community than I do the paranormal community, and I find that, they have endless amounts of material. And
Hmm.
it's really a shame because those are the ones that make the paranormal field look like a joke. And the same thing with, like you said, the psychic mediums that, when you're watching the debunkers, which I thank God for them all the time, because you need to stay grounded. You need to stay, and you learn from them, the
Right,
good ones anyway, the ones that are doing research and real journalism and really looking into things, and doing it for the right reasons. Those are the ones I totally respect what they do. And I
right,
feel like the paranormal field needs them,
right,
because people
right.
just, you see so much where people just believe everything.
I know. It's like you got to realize is that your intentions make a difference. If your intention is to lie and to cheat and to fake and to do all that stuff just because you think it's fun and to get popularity, that's going to come around and bite you right in the ass. And it's just, there's no room for it. You know, the people that are trying to make a difference in other people's lives or trying to help the people that need an investigation because they don't know what's going on in their house, they need the people that are going to be honest and true and generally want to help that person with good intentions, you
Right.
know. And so that's why I keep my circle small. I
You
don't
have to.
I don't expand myself too far. That's why people don't really invite me to do paracons or anything like that anymore, because I I kind of just keep to myself and do my own thing, and
That's the
so,
best. That's the best.
you
Keep
know,
your circle small.
yeah.
I want to just touch on this. So I'm a little jealous, because Goth is saying I get closure from cats in 5 to 8 days, from cats in 5 to 8 days, but not one family member has ever. So I guess he gets visited by his pet, like cats.
It just depends on the connection that you have. I have connections with animals too and cats, and
I have the hardest connections with my pets, and I have yet. Well, there's a couple of times I question myself, right? So there's a couple of times that I think some things have happened, but I'm like, okay, that's just my mind. Like, I move too quickly. How do you try to recreate that, right? Like, you try to move exactly the same way you just moved to see if you see it again. You don't. So there's been things where I've been like, did I see that, or was that like? And then I just brush it off like it wasn't. You know what I
right.
mean? So, um, and then Scarborough gatekeeper, hello, Doug. Our cats who have passed, we still see two of them around the house sometimes. One of them, it's been over 10 years since they passed. They seem to follow when we move. That's awesome. And I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
Yep.
I'm so jealous.
Yep. Oh yeah, we have. I've had cats that come back, and they you could feel them walking on the bed, and you're like, and you know where the other cats are. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, which one is this? And yeah, um, so yeah, that's not surprising, but
Yeah, I'm jealous of that.
yeah,
I was very close. I'm very like I would marry my fur babies if I could marry them. Like, I'm literally in love with them, hardcore.
yeah,
Like, so sometimes I feel like I see stuff, but then I second guess myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't see that. That was me just turning funny, or you know, I always brush it off,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and I'm okay with that. Like, I feel like if I want it to be like a no, I want it to be like a no doubt that just happened.
mm-hmm,
For
mm-hmm,
me to ever share a story or say, yeah, I've had that experience, it's got to be like a no doubt in my mind. I know that, I've had experiences where I tell people, who, and they may or may not believe me, and that's okay. I don't care.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I know what I experienced. I,
Right.
I can't explain it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I know what I experienced. But and you don't, and nobody has to believe me. I really don't care.
Right. Right.
But I'm not just going to throw everything out there.
Right. Right.
You know, I'm going to wait until I say, okay, I just saw this. Like this happened. You know, like I saw this.
Right. Right. My stuff has to have weight to it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at it that way. If it's going to benefit the person that I'm talking to, or if it's going to benefit the situation, or why I say that, you know what I mean? There's sometimes some things I won't say. You
Yeah.
know, I
Well, when
don't.
you're basically dealing with what in my world would be a private case, a private home case. You're, you
Hmm.
know, like if someone were to say, you know, come to my house, you know what I mean? And because, you know, my three daughters won't sleep in their room, they have to sleep in our room because they're scared. Because, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like you're
Right.
basically dealing with, you know, people as well and
Hmm.
trying to help them get through
Right.
whatever it is they're going through, you know?
Hmm.
And, you know, so you have to treat that totally different than walking into an abandoned location that you're ghost hunting.
Right. 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 Like
So
when I went to Waverly, that was an I was disappointed, but I mean I was really more or less I was in so much pain walking around because of the fact that I had drove 6 hours to get there and little sleep, but it's I could feel the energy and the frequency of a lot of the people and residual there. I mean, I don't know if I didn't guard myself properly. I didn't know if I what happened, but it just I my whole body just screamed. And we went back to the Airbnb, which was an old farmhouse that was haunted. And I knew it was because I saw the lady that was living there. You know what I mean? It was an old lady. I saw her when I pulled up. And then after we got back from
I want to
wait,
see an
wait,
apparition so bad.
yeah, we
I
went we
I
got back
want to
there and
see it.
I
I've
slept.
never seen
I
anything like
could have
that.
never I could have somebody could have had a herd of elephants run through the house and I wouldn't have heard anything after Waverly. I went back there, went up to the room, got up in the bed, and I was out. And I was out completely. And I if something paranormal happened, I didn't see it, didn't hear it, nothing.
Mm,
And so I mean there's been lots of different times that I've, been over undained in emotions and frequencies and stuff like that. And so being in a place like Waverly, that's a place that I know I probably shouldn't go because I get too much every direction
mm.
unless I do certain things to protect myself. But
Well, do that before you go to Gettysburg.
well, yeah, but I mean, I have to be open on a different side. It's really weird how this is going to work because I know that there's a pathway for me to be able. I see myself. There's a pathway for me to walk in Gettysburg that I'm not going to get not attacked, but over saturated with spiritual energy. You know what I mean? So, yeah,
Like when I'm there, like first of all, the nature, I'm so attached to the land as
yeah,
well. Um, so like I feel like for me, I'm not thinking about because people are like, oh my god, I can't go there. There's a death, death, death. Like, oh, there's so much. It's so horrible, and I feel bad for people that go there and wind up not being able to go there because they're overwhelmed negatively with, you know what I mean, with things. Because for me it's like all the stuff in between the fighting and all the, you know, the what was there before, what was there after,
hmm
and not necessarily the dying for
the
me.
stories. That's
Yes.
part of what I want to get into.
Yeah, that's what I feel when I'm there. I feel the the um the patriotism in all of them. I feel the, you know, the valor, you know, and the, you know, the fighting for what they believe in, and the in betweens, like conversations, you know, with them talking about their sweethearts and their wives and their kids, and you know, you know, they never thought the war was going to last that long. You know what I mean? So they were thinking they were going home soon. So like the, you know,
Right.
that hope, that they had, the
Yeah.
hope of,
Right.
okay,
And that's the story that I want to be able to tell.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
that's the stuff I
do you
feel.
have a cat in there?
She's outside the door. She wants to play fetch, so she,
Okay, so that's what I hear.
yeah, you hear her talking. What is it, baby girl? Yeah, say, you hear her
Yeah.
talking back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll meow like that until I pick the ball. She has a ball with her probably. She wants me to play fetch.
Hmm.
Doug says, um, the stories are part of what I want too, not made up ones, the real stories. Yeah,
Right. Right. Right.
100%.
Right. Totally. I mean, that's why I want to do that documentary. Is I want to be able to tell the stories in between the battles.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Maybe that's what I should call it.
yeah,
You know,
stories in between the battles. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
yeah. Go ahead.
All right. You heard it here on Paranormal Brew.
Or the stories within the battles, or the stories in between the battles. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, think about it. Like, brother was fighting brother, best friends were
Hmm.
fighting best friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy when you think about, you know, back then. Men were men back then.
Yeah.
Even though they had the opposite. I mean, you hear stories about how one general wanted to meet with the other general from the other side in between fighting, like just to have a cigarette together. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then
Right.
they would go back to, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine that happening today?
One
Like,
of the and one of the best scenes in a TV show was 1883 in
uh-huh.
the very beginning when Tim McGraw was sitting there with who's that actor? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. Tom Hanks.
Hmm.
There was that battle there in the beginning of that show 1883, and and Tim McGraw was on the Confederate side, and he lost all his men, and he's sitting down, and the general, which was Tom Hanks, came over and basically consoled him, and that picture right there of what
But
are we doing?
1883, it wouldn't be Civil War.
Yeah, but I mean but it started
Oh,
beforehand.
they were
Yeah,
showing.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. I
yeah,
misunderstood you.
yeah. So you've never seen that movie
No,
that miniseries?
no.
1883 is a messed up Wild West type. It's the start of Yellowstone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but that scene in the beginning is so heartbreaking and moving, and that's the epitome of what the Civil War was at that time when
Right.
these two from different sides and one consoling the other one, saying,
Yep.
"Yes, I know this is all a very sad situation,"
Yeah.
and I
They
just
all felt. I mean, like
right,
they all were. I mean, they all had. I mean, even so, General Amistad, when he got shot during Pickett's charge, you know what I mean, and he was mortally wounded, but he fell at the Union line, and he put the Mason sign up in the air. He was a
right,
Mason,
right,
and he was Confederate. He fell inside the Union line, right? So he's captured by the Union.
right,
Put the Mason symbol up, and four Union guys go running over to him and take him to do a proper, like, take him to somewhere to get medical help, because they're
right, right,
also Masons. So
right,
they put the whole thing aside about, you're
right,
Confederate, I'm Union. This is what we're fighting for. This is what we're fighting for. You're a Mason. All bets off. We're taking you where you need to go to get treated
right.
immediately. You know.
Maybe that's a good story to look into as well.
Yes, it was so good.
You
That's
know
a
what I
good
mean? I mean,
General
what
Amistad. Hmm.
some of that, So yeah, so I'm gonna have to do some more research. But yeah, so
Yeah, I have lots. I told you I have lots of stories,
well, that's good.
and you're feel free to use them.
All right.
But we are like way over.
Way over. I thought we were. We were
Yeah,
just chatty Cathy's.
yeah, we were. But it was nice. It was nice to catch up. And
Yeah.
where can people find you?
Everybody can find me on TikTok, on Instagram. You can find a Paranormal Diner on Instagram and Studio Six Media on Instagram. You can find J Paranormal on Instagram, and you can find Studio Six Media on TikTok and YouTube. And
And all your shows do get streamed on Studio Six Media.
yeah, yeah, yep, yep. So yeah,
It's okay.
yeah. No, it's all good. You can
Uh,
rewatch it.
Thanks, Sage. Um,
Yeah. So I like I said, I'll be recreating that Kickstart on Kick that new campaign on Kickstart. I will send you the link.
Awesome.
I will post a link on my either my Instagram or my Facebook, but I will also probably make a video of it and post that on YouTube under Studio Six Media.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
yeah, I'm just been. I have a lot of great ideas for Gettysburg and for the documentary and for that.
Well, if
And
you need any of my input,
oh yeah, I will be picking your brain.
I also have somebody else, a friend of mine, Dustin. He's good with the history stuff. He knows more of the history than I do. I know.
Right, right.
So yeah, if you ever need anybody else to
I
help,
need I need to do before I do anything is I need to do a walkthrough. You know what I
you
mean? A walkthrough of Gettysburg
well,
and
do you know?
just
I mean,
yeah, but just to verify all the things that I see. You know what I mean?
it would take a long time.
So that's all right.
It's a very very large national
We
park.
we got nothing but time.
Yeah. So expect to spend a weekend at least.
Yeah, I would need a lot of money to do that.
At least three days. At least
So
3 days.
that's why this campaign is important to me. And yeah,
Awesome. Well,
okay.
I'll share. Let me know. It was
I
very
will.
nice having you on. Thank you, everybody in the chat.
Thank you for
Please,
having me.
please share it out, not for me, not for Paranormal Brew, but for Jay and what Jay's
Yep.
doing. Please share it
Yep.
out.
Yep.
And
Yep.
love you, Jay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for coming on, and I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. I will be on next week. So far, it's just me. And I'm sure I'll figure something to talk about. So that's not what I love to do. But I want to thank everybody for joining me. And until next time, sweet dreams, y'all. Sweet dreams.